Electrocast.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock has tips to protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report phishing, and update the software on your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, let LifeLock alert you to suspicious uses of your personal information. LifeLock also fixes identity theft, guaranteed or your money back. Stay smart, safe, and protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana makes car selling fast and easy from start to finish. Enter your license plate or VIN and get a real offer in seconds, down to the penny. If you accept, Carvana will come pick up your car from your driveway. Or you can drop it off at one of our car vending machines. Either way, you get paid instantly. It's fast, transparent, and 100% online. Car selling that saves your time. That's Carvana.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
It's not day or night. It's kind of half night, you know? And I'm scared like I can't tell you. And you're scared. I get even more frightened when I see how afraid you are, and then I realize what it is.
Halloween, or whatever movies, 2025.
1, 2, Wesley's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. What up, and welcome to Or Whatever Movies. I'm your co-host, Iris, and I'm here with my older brother,
Wesley Krueger.
Seriously, dude. Today we're discussing a movie from 1984. I was 4 years old when this came out. How old was I when I saw it?
I was really obsessed. In the late 80s, this is around the time of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, and 4, The Dream Master. Fully obsessed. Comic books, Freddy's Nightmares, the TV show, all red and green lights and fog machines. Probably. You got some spillover from that.
For some reason, homie flying into the corner in his tighty whities, it was like a memory trigger for me. Freddy walking down the dark alleyway with the comically long arms, terrifying, but also so familiar.
I'm glad to hear that. And that's why for the duration of this interview, we're going to conduct this podcast. We're going to conduct this
You're right,
discussion.
Dude?
Interview
Did you sleep last night?
Actually, I didn't. Not very much. And that's probably a good thing leading up to our discussion on A Nightmare on Elm Street. First question, are body bags reusable?
No.
Are Ziplocs reusable?
Yes.
Really? Like you wash them out?
Yes. If they are lightly and gently used Ziplocs, I rinse them out, I leave them to dry, and I reuse them. That's plastic, dude. Why do you have to waste? You don't have to waste it.
I know, but also it's like hazmat and stuff when it comes to body bags.
Yeah, that seems there's like an ethical thing, and like people get all crazy about consecration of the dead.
Which is why you don't make them clear, transparent, translucent.
You're talking specifically about Tina's body bag in the high school hallway?
Like Tina, her death and post-death in the body bag, and the black blood trail in the hallway in school in broad daylight, almost too scary.
Oh, man. This was very cathartic. This was very relieving to watch. As a full-blown adult, like with Event Horizon, I harbored so much fear about this movie and about revisiting it. I remember it being just the scariest thing I had ever seen. And to see it now was kind of like being released from any Nightmare on Elm Street curse, residual curse from my childhood.
This is what I've been trying to achieve with The Sneak for over a decade. Do you not think that she would benefit from watching A Nightmare on Elm Street in the company of others to be like, all right, that was kind of silly?
I mean, it dispels all the fear. I think that there's something magical about that. Now, I don't know if it would cause new or different traumas, but for me, it was like I was literally released from something that I had been harboring since childhood.
Is this the image of Freddy Krueger? Because I think for the sneak, it's him being burned, which she thinks is gross, and gross is somehow scary. But what is it that held such fear for you? Was it memories of specific scenes, or was it his overall demeanor, or the helplessness of you being asleep and unable to kind of anticipate him?
I guess I don't think about Freddy Krueger before I go to sleep, but I don't think I've ever taken a bath without thinking about Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. The original slasher movie, like Mike Myers was more of a stabber.
Is there a
And
difference?
Jason was more of a hacker. But Freddy slashed. And I don't think you can slash with a chainsaw, right? That's just chainsawing someone.
Yeah, I guess technically that would be sawing.
Yeah, so maybe the original slasher movie?
Yeah, and is the idea that he created did he create the gloves to murder the children?
Presumably.
Gotcha. So what we're seeing in the beginning, the cold open, is the living Fred Krueger before he was burned by the parents?
Yes, and I think we only see the actual Freddy in the real world in two instances. One, when he's creating the glove, and two, when she brings him out of the dream at the end. Everything else was their manifestation in their dreams, as real as he might be in that setting.
Okay.
The bathtub thing, I was unable to get Kelly to rewatch this movie with me.
Why?
I think because of that, there's a victimization going on of women in particular that's sexual in nature, and it makes him creepy. And Freddy Krueger was originally written as a child molester, murderer, and it was changed to child murderer. But right, get it? But there was a series of child abuse scandals. I don't know if scandal is the right word in the 80s at the time. So they backed off of that a little bit and they were like, he's a child murderer. And they never say that he abused or molested kids until the 2010 remake, which suspiciously bombed. And maybe that was kind of the result of, maybe it was because they went that angle. So he's scary enough because he murders kids. Why he murders kids specifically, I'm not exactly sure. But all the stuff with Nancy, I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy, and the tongue and the phone and the claw between her legs in the bathtub, was that Nancy's projection of her fears? Was he like Pennywise, Freddy? Was he preying on her fear? And her fear was about being chased, I guess, and like, we're here for Tina now, Glenn, not for ourselves. And he's like, morality sucks. And I was like, well, what's morality? When I was 10 years old. And Rod is like, what's going on here? An orgy or something? And I was like, what's an orgy? But Tina's dream doesn't have any of the sexiness stuff because she's obviously sexually active and it's not scary to her. And like when the lambs start bleating and the lamb is trucking through the boiler room, that's the only time that happens in this movie. And it happens a few times centered around Tina. So is that her fear? This idea that she's helpless, that she's the lamb being led to slaughter or whatever? It seems like these are tailor-made elements for those two characters that don't cross over, that don't bleed over, if you will.
Well, their fears certainly play into this, and overcoming them is the key to Nancy's success at the end. I thought the lambs were pretty dynamic metaphors. This idea that Tina was being led to the slaughter, that she feared death, or she feared the results of her sin, so to speak, right? Like she feared death, and that's what ultimately came to her. But I also was reading into the lamb as like a sheep sleep metaphor and just this debilitating lack of sleep that these kids have because of their fear. So I could certainly see how, in Nancy's case, there could be some kind of fear of sexuality or fear of loss of innocence or fear of developing into a sexual adult that could be fueling the Freddy flame.
Good alliteration. Next question. What I took from this movie in this viewing is that it seems like it sucks to be a parent. Would you trap and burn a child killer to keep your kids safe?
Don't worry, honey. Mommy's taking care of it.
Oh,
I
man.
say this to my girls all the time. I will always protect you. I will never let you get hurt. And I know that there's a limitation to what I'm saying, but I think it's important for them to know that the point is that they feel safe. But I'm not going to murder somebody who's a potential threat to you. But the mom seems to have her own price to pay, right, for the deed done, I assume, in concert with other parents, right? And now she's divorced, she's this drunkard, she's, kind of adrift. It seems to me in some scenes like a shell of a mother, a shell of a woman when she's engaging with Nancy, which I'm sure isn't helping, ultimately, Nancy in her current plight.
I did not get the vibe. Mom and Dad were never divorced, and we were one of just a few families that we knew that had the parental units intact. I did not realize when I was a little kid that Nancy's parents were divorced. John Saxon comes in and is like, "What the hell was she doing there?" And she's like, "Hello to you too, Donald." I'm like, "You didn't just see him at home? They're not divorced. He's just always at work." He's a workaholic or whatever. I wasn't really sure what the dynamic was or what good parenting was as far as Nancy's mom is concerned. She seemed to be driven more and more to drink on an obvious level when her kid was in peril, and she didn't seem to be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, she couldn't protect Nancy from her dream. Or her dream
Yeah,
Freddy.
or her kid was at least disturbed. So at the end, which I will never not think is a terrible ending, was that Nancy's dream or was that the mom's dream?
Oh.
Because in every other dream, it has to be Glenn's dream in which he dies, Rod's dream in which he dies. Nancy wasn't dreaming that. Then the mom dies and the kids are taken away and Freddy's evidently still there. Maybe he's pushing a little bit farther because the parents spend the whole movie being like, "You're crazy, honey. We took care of this. You just need to sleep. It'll help." And then she gets killed, which means it must have been her dream. And there's no better evidence to prove that this was a total fantasy than that a full-blown alcoholic would be like, "I've decided to quit drinking. I just don't feel like it anymore. I feel like $1 million. You know she's going to die."
She was acting pretty strange in that final scene. So that tracks. I imagine there's a million theories about A Nightmare on Elm Street because of the surreality of the storytelling. Like, you can kind of do anything you want with it.
This series is a great microcosmic example of things that I loved that started on a much more serious note, got progressively sillier. So silly, in fact, that by the time I was an adult, it had completely burned itself out. I know that I've seen The Dream Child, Nightmare on Elm Street 5. I know that I've seen Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I've seen all this, but it was so silly by that point that I had disregarded it. I don't really know what people believe. I know from a movie making perspective that ending was tacked on and that it was supposed to end, like I said, as a one-off with her denying Freddy his ability to exist and to prey upon her fears. And that was it. And then the studio wanted another thing. And, they want sequels and stuff. And there were several versions of it being shot. One where Freddy was in the car and he was smiling and driving in broad daylight, ostensibly because he had now crossed over to the real world, but it was shot awkwardly and the kids don't react to the fact that he's driving. They're not horrified that they're locked in a car with Freddy. Not every version had the mom being pulled through the door, which just looks terrible. What I can say about this ending, at the very least, is that their reactions for the top of the car were genuine. The red and green top signifying Freddy's presence somehow or other. I think that was the same car as the one Glenn was driving early on.
At the beginning. Pretty sweet ride, Glenn.
Yeah. But the top comes out and slams over Nancy's head, and she totally freaks out and says, "What happened?" And that's Heather Langenkamp, where this top slammed above their heads and scared the bejesus out of them.
Oh, they're not acting.
Right. It worked well. And so they didn't need to put Freddy in the car. It was just that it's driving away and she's obliviously waving them off so she can have her death scene.
I read it as Event Horizon style, or When Evil Lurks style, where Freddy's just in the things now.
I mean, he exists in some form. It's a little bit unclear, but they wanted to set it up for sequels. And it at least makes for a more dreamy conclusion because the subsequent sequels were just nonstop dreams and fantasy and scary monsters, snakes and Freddy TVs and all this stuff. But I still have a problem with the final fight. The fact that she goes all commando and starts filling light bulbs with, it seems dumb to me, and all the steps.
What does he do? Does he turn on the light? Does he turn it on because he cannot see?
No, it's a tripwire.
Oh, right. And it blows up like 6 feet from him, but then he dives like he's being bombed.
Right? He's Freddy Krueger, and maybe he couldn't turn the door handle because the claw is on his dominant hand. But no, actually, it's on his left hand. See, I'm left-handed, and this was a problem growing up because all the gloves were left-handed, the fake gloves, and I bought many of them, fantasized about making it in shop class. I wouldn't have been able to get away with it, but it was always on my dominant hand, which is not exactly what you want. But yeah, he can't get the thing open, and then he gets hit in the stomach with the sledgehammer and stuff. Here's a fun fact of trivia that I haven't seen anywhere else. Did you remember when she douses him with whatever that is and sets him on fire?
Yeah.
Did you notice how bigger and bulkier
he's all puffy
he was when he was on fire?
Yeah, he's got the fire suit on and then the fire retardant Freddy mask on top of his Freddy face.
See, you would think so. But actually, the stunt person in the Freddy mask, it turns out, was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Stop. Is this a joke?
Don't believe me? Take a listen.
He doesn't stop with the Arnold Schwarzenegger efforts.
Come on.
That's dumb.
The whole thing was kind of dumb.
But if you watch it with that in mind, it totally makes sense.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
Breathe deep. Imagine your legs more limber in Duluth Trading Double Flex Denim. Envision euphorically squatting for that can of suds, bending for your toolbox in a state of bliss, lunging for your laser level on a whole new level. Relax and allow the flex to fill you with ability. Find your inner flex in Double Flex Denim only at Duluth Trading.
The whole thing is kind of dumb. It's kind of silly. Now, that being said, the practical special effects are so good. It's still kind of scary.
Someone said that guy set some kind of record, or he left people in awe. He had the suit on, he got caught on fire, chased her up the stairs, got, hit or kicked or whatever, tumbled down the stairs, got back up and ran up the stairs again, and then got knocked down, all like in a single breath. You can't breathe when you're on fire. The surrounding fire immediately consumes all the oxygen. So that stunt guy, I guess, this was a pretty low budget movie. He knew what he was working for his money, man.
Dude.
Freddy looks kind of dumb. He's kind of gross. It's hard to put him on a t-shirt. And the red and green sweater, which scientifically Wes Craven found were the two diametrically opposed colors that made for a jarring effect for the human eye to see, looks silly. Nobody would wear that sweater. It's like the most conspicuous child murderer sweater I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like all those people who drive those child murderer vans with the blacked out windows. I'm like, don't you realize how you appear, right? How you come across?
You might as well spray paint free candy on the side of the van.
Seriously.
So there are some elements, and I do not know if it is just silly because silly, or if it's silly because it's meant to be disorienting. This primal idea that he has claws for fingers, that he wears this ugly sweater, and that he's burned and thus unpleasant to look on. Like, psychologically, does that make him scary? Or as adults, where we're like, yeah, those movies got super cheesy, is it just cheesy and silly? Like you said, this was a relief, which means that you weren't scared.
I was not scared.
And I thought Freddy Krueger, when I was 10 years old, was cool beans. But I was also and I wasn't really scared of him.
Interesting. I'm kind of thinking, and maybe this is from my objective perspective now, maybe the purpose of Freddy's burnedness is just to give us a glimpse into his backstory, right? We don't know until pretty far along that the parents were responsible for burning him, and that being burned was why he looks the way he looks. So maybe it's just disconcerting at the outset, but then later tracks with his story. It looks fakey, it looks silly. I mean, it is gross, and maybe there's a horror appeal to that. I think the freakiest appearance in this movie is just the impossible youngness of Johnny Depp.
Very first role, and he owes his career. I mean, he probably would have broken through or whatever, but Wes Craven had someone else in mind for the role of Glenn, and his daughter was like, but that kid, that one is so cute. You should totally hire him because he's dreamy.
Meaning Johnny Depp?
Yeah, and this was his first feature film role, where he died in spectacular fashion.
He plays a sweet character, so that doesn't hurt. But is the cutoff football jersey dreamy?
I don't know. That was like in Bill and Ted, Alex Winter kind of days and style. Johnny Depp and Alex Winter are the only dudes that I can ever remember wearing a half tee.
He's just impossibly young and skinny, but Glenn is a sweet guy, and he does fail Nancy spectacularly twice, but he also doesn't deserve his horrific death. I mean, and that's horrific.
And yet nothing happens. It was inspired by The Shining. It was just a whole lot of blood in clearly fantasy, context, just like pouring upwards. And it's obvious now how they did it, but kind of a big deal. And I'm not sure they were doing full giant rotating gimbal things with bedrooms, Christopher Nolan style, very often in 1984 or 1983, probably when this was shot, for Tina's bedroom.
Man, the Tina stunt is awesome.
Awesome, awe-inspiring, pretty terrifying. The guttural noises that she makes, that's what sticks with me. But when I was a kid, even then was down with the white girls in their underpants or whatever. No part of Tina is hot in my memory. Not when she's alive, because her death scene was so horrific.
Oh, man. Yeah, her boyfriend in the tighty whities also not hot. And what a tool. Is it just like 80s machismo tool guy-ness? Because what she sees in him is completely lost on me.
Come on. He's the dude broinest, broing down dude I've ever seen. You weren't into the leather jacket over the bare chest. Every time someone rushes up on screen and like cop cars swarm a dude, just like Daryl in The Outsiders, whenever people are arrested with like a jacket and no shirt, I expect them to be like, I'm cool. Like, I remember that so clearly from A Nightmare on Elm Street.
I mean, again, probably doesn't deserve death by bedsheet hanging, but kind of a spectacular tool.
You know how they did the hanging effect for Rod?
How?
It's a very complicated, innovative technique that Coppola could only have dreamed of for Bram Stoker's Dracula, and that is to wrap the sheet around the actor's neck and then slowly pull it away in reverse.
Right.
And then pull it away and then play the film in reverse so it looks like it's creeping up and around his neck. Fascinating.
Isn't that the beauty of it, though? That it's so simple and yet so effective?
The beauty is that a lot of this was practical, where they had dudes with the arms on poles, where in that sequence, for some reason, Freddy has two claws screeching down the sides of the alleyway on both sides on like fishing poles or metal poles or whatever. They had the claws wired to car batteries so they would spark when they hit the walls. It's all great and practical and scary. And then sometimes also cheesy, the goopy when he cuts off his fingers just to mess with Tina, and the blue goop spurts out or whatever.
He looks so delighted when he does it.
When this movie is practical, for the most part, it's great. But maybe they should have used some special effects, some like CG for Nancy's mom's death in the bed. Which I could totally do for a Halloween party for like $40.
With the full-on fluffy dummy?
No, the skeletal hand that comes up and waves goodbye, and she sinks into the bed with thunder and lightning and blue light.
Oh, right.
Oh my God. Like that's a movie accurate prop that I could construct for a Halloween party.
But how totally appropriate for the story that the bed is the center of this terror, that it in a way kind of begins with that, when Tina and Rod are getting it on. And then it ends in the bed, and it all basically takes place in the bed, even though we see it as taking place someplace else, right? It all kind of begins and ends there. It's very succinct in that way. I mean, kind of a passion project for Wes Craven, put him on the map, put New Line Cinema on the map. Can you tell me a little bit about Wes Craven? Is this always what he wanted to do?
No, he had made 2 movies and neither of them did very well. Someone came along and said, give me something commercial. Give me something that'll really sell. And he created it out of necessity. He used his childhood memories, a study that he had read about where Hmong people fleeing Pol Pot and his despotness were having screamy, traumatic dreams, and several of them died suspiciously, being scared to death by their dreams or whatever. And he took those underlying fears as a kid, subjugation of kids and stuff, and created this thing that was a massive hit. But I don't know that Freddy was in his mind this character. One of his previous movies, he had a character named Krug because Freddy Krueger was a boy that he knew growing up who bullied him for a few years and shared a paper route with. But New Line was on the verge of folding and stuff. It's a little bit like Dracula coming along and saving Coppola's bacon. And New Line was faltering, and they put it all into A Nightmare on Elm Street and thrived, and thus was redubbed The House That Freddy Built, and is the reason that we have the versions of The Lord of the Rings that we do.
2 last questions. Is there significance to the street name, Elm?
There's an Elm Street in pretty much every city in America. Anyone can be a victim to Freddy or whatever. It's like The Simpsons. Where's The Simpsons located? They're in Springfield. Well, which state is Springfield in? All of them.
And the kids' nursery rhyme, did that predate Nightmare, or did Nightmare popularize it?
It was for this movie and kind of strange. It was that song when we were kids. Did the kids kind of catch on to what was going on, and did they manifest a jump rope song? And would the parents, having just killed Fred Krueger in a boiler room, have been okay with their kids skipping rope to this sad song about the guy that they murdered? Like, where did the song come from? It only exists in the dream sequences where the kids are slowly, creepily jumping rope. In the beginning,
they don't exist,
think they're really
right?
there. When they pull up at school, and then subsequently when they're driving away in Freddy's car, they're there, which is a clear indication that we're not out of this yet, that we're still in the dream world in some capacity, whoever's dream that might be.
So an undisputed horror classic, A Nightmare on Elm Street. John Browning from the Powers of Darkness podcast, which is playing now at orwhatevermovies.com or wherever you get podcasts, said that he was the kid who would have fantasies of playing with Freddy. Like, Freddy was his friend. He wasn't the scary guy. Was this you?
I wanted to be him. He was cool and wanted the costume. I wasn't one for masks over my face, and I think hats are dumb. And the sweater was dumb, like I said, but I definitely wanted that glove. I remember wanting to build. Did you take shop class at Hull?
Yeah, with the dude who molested kids.
Right. Mac Perry. He was our Freddy Krueger in real life. Apparently his thing was little boys. That's all I heard. But he was, a big, like a boisterous, not a big guy, but kind of creepy like Freddy. Robert Englund is not large and imposing.
You're right. He really isn't physically imposing. But didn't Mr. Perry, like Freddy, die a fiery death?
Yes, exactly. This is why I'm saying the corollary is unavoidable. The legend has it. I know someone who had the newspaper clipping. This is after my time. I don't know if it was after your time. He would always talk about going to the track. He had a race car, I think like a NASCAR style race car, and he would race at the track. That was Mr. Perry's thing. And when the allegations came up, and this is all real, and it was in the newspaper and stuff, I guess he was maybe arrested and released, or he knew that they were on to him, went to the track, fired up his car, and took it into a wall at 200 miles an hour, supposedly, and resulting in his fiery death. So that's pretty Freddy Krueger real around here. But I think they were football kids, and I was never a cute football kid, so he never invited me, as they said he did, allegedly, to play grab ass after hours. That was Mac Perry. I haven't been able to find a lot about it. It's a sordid history tidbit in Torrance, California lore.
Wow. Where there was an Elm Street.
The actual house, the same numbers, 1428, I think it is, Elm Street, were the actual numbers on that house on Genesee Avenue in the middle of LA, which you could go and look at right now. That house is still there. It doesn't look quite the same, but they haven't modified the exterior beyond coloring the doors or painting the house or whatever.
Dude, would you live in the Freddy house?
Sure. And it's in a very nice neighborhood. Be courteous and drive by and pause and then keep going. But it's all there. The honeysuckle or whatever that bush was that Glenn steps out of, it's all right on that street, Genesee Avenue in LA. I've gone by it several times, and you play the Nightmare on Elm Street theme as you drive by. But somebody stole those letters, the original letters, stole them off the house, and the owner was pretty upset about that.
That sucks. Yeah.
Long time ago, though, now. This is a movie to watch in parts. So many good parts. So many dumb parts. And then maybe the most disappointing scary movie ending that I can call to mind. It makes it fall short of being a classic, but an indelible entry and a mainstay in modern horror.
The scariest movie of my childhood that I can now set aside as being kind of a silly curiosity, but also an enduring, I think, horror classic. That's our discussion on A Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984. Check out our other scary movie discussions. And as a bonus, there's Vampire Month from this year, which was leading up to the release of Powers of Darkness, which is streaming now. So check it out. 818-835-0473 or whatevermovies@gmail.com is how you contact us. Thanks for listening, and Freddy Krueger sign off, Wes.
We'll see you in your dreams.
Ever thought about starting your own podcast?
Do you have a business or a message you want to share with the world?
Well, now it's easier than ever with Electricast. Hi, I'm Mark Netter.
And I'm Peter Rafelson. We're the founders of Electricast Media.
Whether you want to start a new podcast or already have one, join Electricast to grow your audience, monetize your content, and build your community.
With our simple sign-up, you get free promotion, world-class analytics, premium ads, and personal support.
Go to electricast.com and join our community today.
Electricast. Transform your influence.
Electricast.
Hi, it's me, Flo. Remember me from Ghost Hampton, the podcast? I was secretly in love with Lyle Hall. Well, now I'm dead and loving it. But let's talk about you. If you loved listening to Ghost Hampton, you can now spend the summer in the Hamptons. The original episodes are back. And now new episodes will be dropping every Friday. I may drop in too, just to make Lyle feel guilty. Ghost Hampton, the podcast, is now streaming everywhere.
Electricast.